We've just seen a new DJI Fly and firmware update just been released, and it's going to bring a really exciting new feature. Let's get into it. So the new DJI firmware update is version 01.000.600, and the DJI Fly app is version 1.13.8, and this is available for the DJI Mini 4 Pro, the DJI Air 3, using the DJI RC2 controller or the DJI N2 controller. Unfortunately, the Mavic 3 Pro, it still gets to sit on the shelf. This update doesn't work for that. I mean, one day we might get a decent update for the Mavic 3 Pro, that really expensive drone. So the update for the Mini 4 Pro and the DJI 3 is exactly the same. It says it fixes some bugs. So what are they? Well, basically nobody kind of knows. It's all going to relate into issues that certain users have had, and they've fed them back. So if you remember, we fed back a couple of months ago now the slow boot up speed on the RC2. It was taking like up to a minute to boot up, and we collectively fed all that back, and then we saw in the last update this was fixed, and it still is fixed. So it's booting up really fast. But if you've had issues like some people have said with the compass on your Mini 4 Pro or the DJI Air 3, then I've been testing that and that seems to be working fine now. A few people said issues with hyperlapses, they were crashing, they weren't working correctly. I test out hyperlapses in this video, but that seems to be working great. And a few people said issues with quick shots as well. Did you see my quick shots video? I love quick shots. Quick shots are so cool and they're working absolutely fine as well. So if you've been having issues with your Mini 4 Pro, your Air 3 on the last firmware update, this is going to be a time when you need to update to see if it fixes any of those issues. Now it is quite a big update as well, especially on the RC2, so it does take a bit of time to actually update and download this, and it does crash. It crashed a couple of times on me. About the third attempt I was able to actually update the DJI Air 3. Mini 4 Pro it updated pretty seamlessly, but I would say if you're going to update it when it's quite a big file like this, Wi-Fi is going to be better than updating on your phone via like a 4G hotspot, so use Wi-Fi when updating this. It also says added support for enhanced transmission. What is that on the Mini 4 Pro and the Air 3? Is our signals going to get better on here? How is it enhanced? Well, DJI have been selling a 4G dongle accessory which allows you to connect from your drone to the controller via 4G. The issue is that was only available in mainland China. If you try to buy that outside of China, it wouldn't work. You have to put a SIM card in it, and you also at the time needed some kind of like subscription which you could only get in China as well. Well, DJI have actually been testing to bring this to more countries outside of mainland China. They've recently been testing it in the UK. So the enhanced transmission update on the RC2 and these drones, this is what it's all about. You can actually get the new DJI Dongle 2 now outside of China. So right now when I look on the UK DJI store, I can actually pick up this new Dongle 2, same on the EU website as well. Now it's not currently available and it's not listed on the US DJI store. I'm not sure if it's going to be available in the next like couple of days or weeks, but with everything that's going on in the US right now, it's really uncertain. I have asked the question, and at the moment they just don't know, especially with what's going on. So I'm not sure, but keep checking. Any US viewers out here, I know like majority of them, you guys are US viewers, so keep checking and let me know if it becomes available on your DJI website, and I'll keep checking as well and I can update you. But right now I have actually got this dongle coming, the DJI Dongle 2. And this works on the Mini 4 Pro and the DJI Air 3. Mavic 3 Pro, it doesn't get the support again. But I will be very interested to see how this works. It's going to allow for this 4G connection from the drone to here. So in areas where you've got like a really built up like Wi-Fi area where the actual connection is pretty bad at times, pretty spotty, then this will be interesting to see how this works. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that, so I can share more details on that with you. But the enhanced transmission, this is what it's all about. It's going to be available in more countries and you can actually buy this right now. Now, before we look at the settings relating to this firmware update and some flight tests and a really bad flight test on one of these drones, I've got to tell you about this. This video is sponsored by Artlist, and it's where I get my music and sound effects from. I've mentioned it before, highly recommend it for music and sound effects. But this new feature they've got is AI voiceovers, and this, man, is just like mind-blowing. So if I go into the voiceover tab here, this is where I can type in all the text and all the different voiceovers here. So I can select any of these, and all I've got to do is click generate, and it will generate this voiceover in literally, 4 seconds, that's ready. And then I can actually hit play, and I can get a voiceover artist reading out what I've typed.
The DJI Air 3 is a great drone, but why do DJI leave the Mavic 3 Pro to gather dust on the shelf?
I could also select different ones as well, so I can go into that catalog and choose any different voiceover or style, and that same text is now going to be read out like this.
The DJI Air 3 is a great drone, but why do DJI leave the Mavic 3 Pro to gather dust on the shelf?
So they've literally, it's just a shop now full of different assets for video creators. Music, sound effects, templates, and now voiceovers and stock video footage. So you can actually get a voiceover subscription plan just for voiceovers, or you can actually get it bundled into the max plan for free as well. I highly recommend you just go and have some fun and actually try this out. Your mind will be blown. You can try it out for free. I'm going to link it at the top of the description where you can actually try this out for free. And if you want to sign up to Artlist, you can also get an additional 2 months added to your subscription as well if you use my link. So go and check this out, but this is fantastic. Let's look at these settings.
Regards to the settings, I did take the Mini 4 Pro out to test it. But in case you were wondering what the UK weather is like in the summer, it's like this: rain, wind, and storms. The Mini 4 Pro can barely fly. It was impossible to fly, so luckily I had the DJI Air 3, which handled the wind like a boss.
So really not a great performance there from the Mini 4 Pro. Luckily I've got the Air 3, so I'll go through the settings on here. Pretty much they're exactly the same on the Air 3 and the Mini 4 Pro, aside from a couple of differences. So Air 3 flying through this wind, it is a really windy day, so I'm not surprised the Mini 4 Pro struggled, but just testing out some features here. So from the 1x to the 3x lens on the Air 3, that's working fine just like before. And then you can just keep a look out in the bottom left hand corner. This is where I would always just be checking just to see how stable that drone is. Is it getting blown around a lot? So being able to see out of the cameras on that bottom left hand corner is a really cool feature. Let's look at quick shots, because a few people mentioned that quick shots on the last updates there was some issues with it. So I'm just going to literally just do a test on it here. So what we'll do is we'll just do a droney, and then I'll just select some object here. Now D-Log M you can use on the Air 3 and the Mini 4 Pro. You can use the D-Log M color profile, so that's really cool. We didn't used to be able to do that, so you can. So D-Log M is selected. I'm just going to actually select this here. I'll just go to 50 meters because it is really windy, and just test that this is working fine. So as you can see, it's selected that like pond, and then it's just going to raise back, and then once it gets to 100 it will then go back to that starting position. Right, relating to the settings, safety, this is the most important thing. Go and actually check your obstacle avoidance action that it's actually selected to bypass. It might be selected to off after a firmware update, and this is where you don't want to have the drone in the air, you think your sensors are on, you end up crashing. So make sure it's actually selected to bypass. Now, max altitude. So this is going to vary and it's going to be different on the Air 3 to the Mini 4 Pro, depending on your country, but have this set around about 100 meters, 400 feet. So that way you're not going to be going over that. In the UK, 120 meters is the highest you should be going without extra permission. So advanced safety settings, you have an extra option on the Air 3, but your signal lost, you want that selected to return to home, or hover if it's actually following you on a bike. Most 90% of the time, keep it to return to home. Now, vision, position and obstacle sensoring, you want this turned on. If you turn it off, the drone will land really fast and hard and it will smash into that ground. It's going to be good if you're on a boat, but for every other occasion, keep it turned on. Now, control, make sure all these are set correctly if you're using metrics or imperial, and then you're gaining expo tuning. I've done a few videos on these, and I also discuss these in my DJI settings cheat sheets, how to actually customize these to get to the very best flight performance out of your drones. Make sure they're all set correctly as well. And relating to transmission, this is where you're going to see the 5 GHz channel now, or the 2.4 GHz, or you can just simply leave it on dual band, but I will go into this in more detail once I've got that dongle too. And hyperlapse as well. A few people mentioned some issues with hyperlapse, it crashing, so I just want to do a quick test on here. So really fast waypoint hyperlapse, just 2 positions, and that's working absolutely fine. So a really cool update there. So if you had issues with any of these 2 drones on the last update, then I highly recommend you go and update this. I'm really excited to see what this enhanced transmission is going to be like, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. Now, I did go through a majority of the settings for both of these drones, but for a more detailed look, I have got my own DJI cheat sheets. We go through all the different settings for the Mini 4 Pro and the DJI Air 3, how to get the very most out of these drones, the settings to use, the settings not to use, pro settings and defilter guides are all included. So I'll link my website at the top of the description as well if you want to go and check these out. Overall, really cool update there. Go and update this. If you enjoyed this video, just do me a favor and hit that like button. It gets this video to more places. Subscribe because I don't want you to miss out on some new products that are coming really soon as well. And I can also show you more about this enhanced transmission. And let me know in the comments down below if you do have any other issues with your drones. If you let me know in the comments, I can try and feed them back to you as well. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.